Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the beautiful and beginner-friendly beaded blossoms motif, similar to these here. Hi, I'm Renee and welcome and thank you for hanging out with me. As you can see, the motifs have beautiful texture to them and subtle accent beads for a unique style. No pre-stringing as usual. We're going to use a larger hook for crocheting a project, and then we'll use a smaller hook to add our beads as we go. You can choose different bead colors and shapes than what I've chosen here. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these motifs yet, but I collect decorative buttons. I may even create something and add a decorative button to the middle of at least a few of them, not maybe every motif, but a few of them. So that's an option. I work these in a DK weight cotton yarn. You can use any DK weight that you choose, any fiber. And the full details, including supplies, are in the description. If you're new to the beaded crochet scene, don't worry, stick with me and I will help you make this motif. So let's get started. I'm going to crochet this project using a size H8 5mm hook, and then in just a moment I will pick up a 1.5mm hook, and that is the hook that I will use to add beads to my yarn. But I'll set that aside for now and let's begin. So leave yourself a small tail. 4 inches is about enough. And then so this is my working part of the strand. It's attached to the skein, right? And I'm going to make a loop by crossing that working part over the tail just like this and hold it open. I'll tension my yarn and now grab that H 5mm hook and I will insert it and chain 2. So 1, 2. Keep holding that first chain. Oops, keep holding that first chain open just like this. We will work 12 single crochet into this first chain, working over the tail as well, holding that chain open. And this is how we're going to do the magic ring. Not having that slip knot will allow us to pull the tail and pull everything into a ring. All right, 12. So now just tug on that tail and you'll see it'll close right up. Now I'm going to leave it a little bit open for now, especially as I do this first invisible join. We're going to join around using the invisible join. This is the right side of the work. Take the loop off your hook. Go ahead and turn your work around to the wrong side. Locate that first stitch, which is right here, and then we're going to insert the hook into that first stitch. The first one may be a little tight, which is why I didn't close the ring all the way to give me some room. Insert into the stitch, put the loop back onto the hook, and simply draw it through that stitch, just like that. This yarn is multi-strand, so it can sometimes split just a little bit, but not too bad. Go ahead and snug that up and turn it back around to the right side. And what we have now, we have the first and last stitches right next to each other, which is what we want. That's the invisible join. You'll do that join for every round except for that final round that we do. We won't invisible join. I'll show you what we'll do. Round 2. Go ahead and chain 1. And now we're going to work herringbone half double crochet into each stitch of this round for a total of 12. So yarn over, insert your hook beginning with that first stitch, insert into that first stitch, yarn over again. And then what I like to do is there's like between the first 2 stitches, it makes kind of like a V sort of. I like to hold down right there because I'm going to take the first loop and draw it through the second underneath just like that. And that leaves 2 remaining loops. Yarn over, draw through those 2 loops. I'll do that again for you. Second stitch. Yarn over, insert into that second stitch, yarn over again, and hold down right there, and draw that first loop underneath the second, yarn over, draw through the 2 loops on the hook. So you're going to do that for every single stitch. Do that invisible join, and we'll be ready for round 3. Round 3, before I get into round 3, there's one thing I want to point out, especially if you're new to working around, and we used that chain at the beginning, right? And then we made our first stitch. So that you don't work into your chain, let me show you that first stitch. This is the top of the stitch right here. Here's the post, and the top of the stitch is a little bit to the right and on top of that post, right? Here's the post, here's the top of the stitch with the V. On the side is the chain stitch, and that's what you don't want to work into. Our chains are going to remain unworked. So I wanted to point that out for you. And now let me show you that invisible join one more time. So I'm not going to invisible join here. I'm invisible joining right here, which is the top of the stitch. Put that loop on, draw it through the stitch, and now we are ready for round 3. We don't need to chain 1 for this round because we're doing single crochet. And so I just extend my loop a little bit and I go right in that first stitch. We're going to make 2 single crochet in each and every stitch. When we finish, we will end up with 24 single crochet. The 2 single crochet in every stitch, invisible join, and we'll be ready for round 4, and we'll get to change yarn colors. I'll show you how we do that, and add beads. Round 4, it's time for us to add beads. We're going to add 6 of them, and we're going to change colors. So I've already cut my color A, leaving a small tail, and now I'm going to switch to color B, which is this pretty coral color. Lay that new yarn across the hook, and you have the old color on the hook, loop on the hook. Draw that new yarn through that loop, and then you're going to cinch up that old color loop so it is out of the way. Let me cinch it up a little bit more. And now we're ready to work in the new color. Let's work 5 stitches into this first stitch. Chain 1, and we're going to work our first beaded petal. So yarn over, insert into that stitch, making a double crochet. Make another double crochet. And next we're going to make a beaded double crochet. So yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, take the loop off the hook, that last loop, grab your smaller hook, and I've already got the bead on this hook, and I'm going to insert that hook into the loop and use it to draw that loop through the bead hole. I'm going to put the smaller hook aside and put the loop back onto the hook, and then I just finish a double crochet like I normally would. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Let's make 2 more double crochet into that stitch. And we've completed our first beaded petal. You're going to skip the next stitch and slip stitch into the stitch after that. Skip that stitch, and then you would make another beaded petal. 2 double crochet. A beaded double crochet, yarn over, drop a loop. Take the loop off the hook. Grab a bead with your smaller hook. Draw the loop through the bead hole. Set that aside. Put that loop back onto the hook. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. And then 2 double crochet into that same stitch for a second beaded petal. And you would skip, slip stitch, skip, and then make another beaded petal. You're going to do that all the way to the end of the round. Remember that that last stitch is going to be skipped, and then you would invisible join to the first stitch, the first double crochet of the round. Round 5, let's build on our petals a little bit more. Chain 1, and then half double crochet into the next 2 stitches, beginning with that first stitch. Two half double crochet into the next stitch. Half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. And just slip stitch into the slip stitch from the round below. And then you repeat. Half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 half double crochet in that stitch, the next stitch after that, half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, slip stitch, repeat to the end of the round, and then invisible join to the first half double crochet of the round. Before we go into round 6, I'm going to cut my yarn color B and pull that loop through, because we're going to do a color change, but it won't be an invisible color change. We'll join in one of the stitches of the round. So go ahead and thread that onto a tapestry needle. And there are so many ways to weave in ends. I know this. For cotton, cotton can slide, and other plant-based fibers, and then the yarn can come undone. So I like to anchor it pretty well. I will usually take it around a stitch leg or two and loop it around, and I will actually knot it. Just a very gentle knot like that, barely visible, just to have some anchor for it, okay? And then from there, I will loop it around the legs like so, several of them, so that it stays in place, because you don't want your motif to come undone. That's terrible. You can also take it underneath legs, go over one leg, and then take it back in the opposite direction. However you choose to do it, just make sure that it's secure. That's it. Whatever you like to do that. And you're just making sure that everything is secure. That's all that you need to worry about. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut my yarn right here. Careful not to cut into your work. And then I'm going to proceed to round 6. Round 6, it is time to add beads. Once again, we're going to add 12 this round. Let's attach our yarn first. Our new color, this is color C, which is this beautiful green, spring green for me. Find one of your petals, and then you're going to attach that yarn to the second half double crochet of the petal. So this is the first half double crochet, this is the second. I'm going to insert my hook right here. Leave a little tail, draw the yarn through, creating a loop, and then slip stitch to attach it. The first stitch is a half double crochet into the, it's a single crochet. Single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. In that next stitch, you're going to work a beaded half double crochet. So yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, take that loop off. I've got my smaller hook with the bead already on it. Use it to draw the loop through the bead hole like we did with the beaded double crochet. Put the loop back onto the hook, and then complete it as if you would a regular half double crochet, which is to yarn over and draw through the 3 loops on the hook. That's it. 2 half double crochet into that slip stitch, and then a beaded half double crochet into that next stitch. Put yarn up, drop a loop off. And draw the loop to the bead hole, put that smaller hook aside, loop back on the hook. You have 3 loops, yarn over, draw through those 3 loops. And then you would repeat. So 4 single crochet, beaded half double crochet, 2 half double crochet in the slip stitch, beaded half double crochet, and then repeat over again until you get to the final, to the end of the round, and then you would invisible join to that single crochet, the first single crochet of the round. Round 7 is where we'll start to make our corner stitches to turn our motif into a square. Single crochet into the first 4 stitches. Half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And the next stitch is where we'll make our first corner stitch. 2 double crochet into that stitch. Chain 2. And 2 more double crochet into that same stitch. half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And now here's where we repeat for the rest of the round. Single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Make that corner stitch, so 2 double crochet into the stitch, chain 2, 2 double crochet. That's our second corner stitch. Half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And then you would begin to repeat once again with the 5 single crochet and continuing from there until you get to the last stitch. And in that last stitch is a single crochet, and you would invisible join it to the first single crochet of the round. We are on our final round, the home stretch. Let's do one last invisible color change. You can color change to color A or B or another color if you want, but you want something to add a little contrast to the border, okay? I'm going to color change to B for this one. Lay the yarn across the hook, draw it through that old color loop. I've already cut that old color tail. We're going to tug on that loop to get it out of the way. And now let's untwist my tail first. Okay, come on. And chain 1. We're going to herringbone half double crochet into the first stitch and every stitch along the side until we get to that chain 2 space. So let's go ahead and do that. Herringbone half double crochet. And when you get to that corner space, that chain 2 space, you will work 4 half herringbone half double crochet into that space. I had to talk slower right then and there because that was going to be one tongue twister for me. All right. And then you just continue. So herringbone half double crochet in each of the stitches along the sides. When you get to the chain 2 space, 4 in there, and just keep working until you get to the end. Do not invisible join. You want to cut a tail for your yarn, pull the loop through, thread it onto a tapestry needle, and I'll show you how we join this round. I've cut a small tail. I'm going to pull my loop through and thread it onto a medium-sized tapestry needle. You don't want a tapestry needle that's too big. This size is good. I put the size and the actual number, I think, in the description. All right, from here, we're going to join the first and last stitches by duplicating the first stitch. Take that needle and from the wrong side working out, draw it underneath the 2 V-shaped loops of the second stitch in the round, right here, and bring it through. Don't work it too tight or too loose. You're going to work so the strand is over this first stitch. And then bring the needle down between the 2 V-shaped legs of the last stitch around, like this. But there's one more thing we need to do. The stitches, as you can see, they're together, right? But you have this little space right here. You see that? And we want to cinch that up a little bit. So what I do is from the wrong side, come over and so the first stitch is actually right here. And you have the V-shaped legs of that stitch. It's right underneath. Go ahead and draw the needle down between those 2 legs. And that creates just a little bit more structure. Now, do you see that? Now that space is gone and it looks like the rest is stitches. That's what you want to do. Let me tidy this up a little bit. Okay. And then from there, you would just weave in the ends as I showed you how to do when we did, that was round 5. Weave in the ends. You can use a knot if you want to, especially if it's cotton. Do that with all of your ends. And then there is one final thing that we need to do for our motif. To take our motif from looking like this, where the fabric is not as soft as it could be, and obviously the edges are not straight, we need to block it. I've got a motif already on my blocking board, and I cannot believe that I let this sit in the corner for as long as it did. But I wasn't making motifs then, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. You can always also use a regular blocking mat like this one here, right? The ones that interlock with some T-pins. But this is so convenient. It accommodates a ton of motif sizes, and you can stack them as well. I am blocking mine 10 pegs across, 10 across to 10 by 10. And I am inserting the pegs. If you're doing a blocking mat, you would insert pins into the corners of round 7 and between the spaces around 7. You don't want to pin on the edges or into round 8 because we want to keep that nice herringbone texture. It's also important that you don't overstretch the motif because, again, we're trying to keep the beautiful texture that we've created. Let me grab a ruler real quick and see where that measurement is. I think it's at 5.5, right? Yes, so that's about 5.5 inches that I've blocked on each side. And then let's see the centimeters. That should be about 14, correct? Yes, that's about 14 centimeters. So you have that as a reference. After, what I do is I spritz it with water and then I'll gently shape it with my fingers and then let it air dry. After it air dries, that is when I will sew on a button into the middle. You can use all types of things. You can sew whatever centerpiece you want. This is a 1/4 inch button that I'm going to sew with just regular needle and thread. You can also use studs or whatever you want for that center, or you could just leave it as is. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know what you plan to make with these or what I should make with them because I'm not exactly sure yet. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.